Eagles, Freddie Coleman. If the Eagles are winning this game, I'm telling you right now, this thing is going Philadelphia's way, one way or another. It's going to be close, but I like it 28-25. We are flying with the Eagles this morning as we welcome Freddie Coleman to our show. ESPN Radio's Freddie and Fitzsimmons, 9-1. What a great show it is, and we listen to it every night on my way home from work. And Freddie has been with us since week 1 of the NFL season and joins us here this morning on Super Bowl weekend. Good morning, Freddie.
So is that a Pennsylvania thing? Figure you go for the home team, that if your team's not in with the Steelers,
Freddie,
the Eagles are going to be there?
That's a don't get in trouble with the wife kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, really? I didn't know you was an Eagles fan. I didn't know that.
It's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of everything. But I really do believe, and maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid here, talking myself into it, that Philadelphia's defense is really good and they can cause some problems for Brady. And I don't think the New England defense has been what it normally is. I think they're okay. I think they're mediocre, and I think their secondary is 30th in the NFL against the pass. And Nick Foles is in a nice little groove right now. So add that all up, and I got a 28-25 Philadelphia win.
Well, here's the deal with what you had to say. I think all your points are completely valid in supporting why you believe the Eagles are going to win. I think Fletcher Cox has to be the most important guy on that defense, because when he's getting pressure up the middle, Brady has, as we've seen before, Brady cannot stand pressure in his face because he's not able to step up in the pocket. If he's able to maneuver around the pocket because it goes around him, he can do that. If Fletcher Cox can get that pressure at the middle, that's going to be debilitating for the Patriots offense. But on the other side of that, you give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to decipher a football team's strengths and weaknesses. I don't think that's going to be the good for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially Nick Foles, their quarterback, which played extremely well in the playoffs outside the first quarter versus the Atlanta Falcons.
And then you throw in Rob Gronkowski. You know, we talk about Belichick and Brady, but Gronk has been cleared by doctors now. Now, I never thought for a second he wasn't going to be in the game, but now officially cleared and passing the concussion protocol. And he is just an absolute beast and a bad matchup for any team. Well,
usually in situations like this with the Patriots, what we've seen in the Super Bowl, it's always somebody else that steps up and they're able to make plays. Prime example, who scored the winning touchdown last year against the Atlanta Falcons? It wasn't Edelman. It wasn't Gronkowski, of course, because he was injured. It wasn't Amendola. It was James White, who had an off-the-hook game, especially in the second half. There's always that X factor that shows up that helps the Patriots win ball games. We saw in the AFC Championship game where Danny Amendola was the best player in the field in the fourth quarter. That player always seems to show up on both sides of the football. The question is when, not if. When that player shows up, how much of an effect can it have on the Philadelphia Eagles if they allow that X factor to have a big effect and completely change the tide of this game?
Might it be Dion Lewis from Albany?
That would be nice.
My money might go to Chris Hogan as a guy who would be kind of that unsung hero, Freddie, that you're talking about. Freddie, I've kind of been saying all week, this game is lacking some serious juice for me. Where are you in terms of the matchup itself and how much you're looking forward to Sunday?
I swear you two were part of our production meetings earlier this week, because can you remember a week leading up to a Super Bowl game when the NBA was dominating headlines like we had all week long, whether it was the Blake Griffin trade to the Detroit Pistons, the ever-evolving soap opera seemingly day by day with the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James? I can't remember ever a time where you had a game like this where it's not just the point spread is 9 points in favor of New England or 9 points in favor of Philadelphia. The point spread started at 7, and in certain places it's down to 4.5 or 5 points, depending on what sports book you look at and what sports action you go to. And the fact that the NBA was dominating the headlines, these two teams keep it close to the vest. They're not going to let anybody else out there put anything out there that's going to be inflammatory material for the other side to use as motivation. But you're exactly right. I mean, I think so many people are just saying, okay, is Brady going for number 6? Is Belichick going for number 6? Eagles have not won a world championship since 1960. Nobody else has been able to step out of that box to give anybody anything to talk about leading up to the game on Sunday.
Time with Freddie Coleman, getting set for Super Bowl 52, and I am with you on Fletcher Cox and the boys up front, Graham, Cox, Long, are really going to have to make life miserable for Brady. Is he going to wear the glove? Is the hand injury at all a factor in this game whatsoever, Freddie?
Not to me, because he's had 2 weeks to have that heal up with the stitches being out, and B, this game's going to be played indoors. Now, if they were playing this game outdoors with a game time temperature at 9 degrees, then that might be an issue. But Tom Brady has shown the ability. I don't know if he's a cyborg. I don't know if he goes into a diabolical chamber every night and morphs himself into a brand new human being every day. I don't know what he's doing, but I want some of it to age that well, like he's been able to do. And yet physically he's not the same guy that he was at 35. We all know that. But he's mentally sharper than he was at 35, that he was at 30 years of age. There's not going to be something that he's going to see that he has not either prepared himself for or has not seen before. So the injury, to me, is not going to have an effect. To me, the one effect I want about the Eagles' defense, the Eagles' corners are not as good as the corners that he saw at Jacksonville with A.J. Bouye and also Jalen Ramsey. If those guys are not able to step up and make some plays, then you know what Jim Schwartz is going to have to do as defensive coordinator. He has to dial up pressure, which may be the worst thing for him to do because that creates one-on-one matchups. And we've seen Tom Brady time and time again. He does not need a lot of time, but if he has just enough, he'll exploit that one-on-one matchup and get those chunk plays that the defense can't afford to have against them playing the Patriots.
Freddie, will you think any less of this Patriots dynasty if they don't win Sunday, if they were to lose to Nick Foles, who I know is kind of a backup without really being a backup quarterback? Does that change your perception of this Patriots dynasty having lost to a team that isn't the New York Giants?
No, and here's why. Because the Patriots dynasty got started with a backup quarterback named Tom Brady back in 2001. He was not the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. Then Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. He gets hit by Mo Lewis. Tom Brady steps in. Bledsoe got back in for the AFC Championship game that year against Pittsburgh. But then Tom Brady got the job back and won a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to think any less of a team that had a backup start their dynasty back in 2001. And let's think about this, guys. We're talking about 17 years, close to 17 years of sustained excellence, where each and every year during that time just about, you never thought of Super Bowl contenders and you did not have the Patriots name in the middle of that. You honestly believe there was either going to be them or somebody else. It was going to be the Patriots or the Colts, or the Patriots or the Broncos. It was always the Patriots or the Steelers. It was always going to be the Patriots or somebody else. I've never been bothered by sustained excellence like that, even against my own team. So whether they win or lose to a backup quarterback in Nick Foles, who used to be a starting quarterback in this league, I'm not going to look at that any differently because of the sustained excellence and continued success that they've had since 2001.
So I could tell you're picking, like Chris, you're going New England here. Freddie, I could tell. It's all right. I'm still sticking with fly, Eagles, fly. How do you see this game unfolding, though? Do you think it's a close game? Do you think Philadelphia can cover the 4.5 in that range, or is this a New England blowout?
I don't think it's going to be a New England blowout because any game that they play in the Super Bowl during this run, they have not run away from anybody, and nobody has run away from them. The Giants needed 2 great pass plays to win the Super Bowls against the Patriots. But you look at the other games that they won. They had to win on a last-minute field goal, not only once versus the Rams, but also against the Carolina Panthers. They had close games versus the Eagles. Last year, down 28-3, they win that game in overtime. So I'm not anticipating that New England is going to run away from the Eagles or that the Eagles are going to run away from the New England Patriots. I will say this. I think this game is going to be close throughout, but I think a play will be made in the fourth quarter that turns into a double-digit game that does not reflect exactly what kind of game we saw. I think the Patriots will make that play on defense, give the offense a short field. I know it's a 4.5, 5-point spread, depending on what book you look at. I think they win this game by 9 points because they got a late play later on that made it a 2-possession game, that the Eagles did not have enough time to overcome that.
And, Freddie, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it yet, but I did last night. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I thought the 30-30 on the 2 Bills was just fantastic.
Man, I watched pieces of it last night. The one thing that jumped out to me was just seeing Bill Belichick in that mustache way back when.
Yeah.
I looked at that. I said, who knew that Bill Belichick employed a porn star mustache when he was first getting into coaching? I mean, I would have never thought in a million years that Bill Belichick would have that kind of facial structure on his face when it comes to a mustache. But just the dynamic, how these two were close. Then they had their separation being in the same division. Then kind of finding a middle ground as they got onto their advancing years. It was pretty cool, the bits and pieces that I saw, and I can't wait to watch the full thing. But that 30 for 30 had a lot of people discussing it on social media last night.
No doubt. Hey, Freddie, man, we can't thank you enough for all you've done all season long for us here on the Friday show. You've been fantastic. We love your work, and I'm sure we will keep in touch, no doubt about that.
Absolutely, my friend. Much love back to my boys up in Albany and everybody else. And, man, I had such a blast doing it each and every Friday. But I'll definitely talk to you guys soon.